Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Mike Zero. It is now the very end of April of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Rise of Skywalker as a film, we do know that ever since then, a lot of Star Wars fans have been very fed up with exactly what's been going on over at Disney and Lucasfilm, and how Kathleen Kennedy really handled the entire sequel trilogy movies. So when we go ahead and take a look at everything related to the future of Star Wars, we do know that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are working very hard together as a team to really develop as much authentic Star Wars content as possible. Basically, their goal, their big plan right now, is to bring back a big chunk of Star Wars legends to be explored in either, of course, the Mandalorian series, or brand new TV shows that will be arriving later this year, into, of course, early 2022, that's going to be announced. Now, everything else related to Kathleen Kennedy, we do know that the past couple of weeks have been a very interesting time, because we have seen this process where Kathleen Kennedy is losing a lot of creative power over a handful of other episodes within Star Wars The Acolyte TV series. She's been firing directors and writers left and right, causing a lot of issues behind the scenes for the pre-production phase of The Acolyte TV show on Disney+. Now, beyond all of this, obviously a lot of fans have been very much emotional over what happened with the sequel trilogy. We saw what happened with The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson. We also saw what happened exactly with The Rise of Skywalker as a film. So when you actually take a look at the very end of the sequel trilogy, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they're doing big things with retcons for the future of the Star Wars universe, and how that's all going to also apply to this new expanded universe, and how it's going to connect directly into the sequel trilogy movies. So with that being said, what's really intriguing about all of this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe, such as with projects like Star Wars Ahsoka and Kenobi, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actively developing The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 in order to fulfill the franchise even further. However, it's described that Jon Favreau is also taking the lead to incorporate many retcons to the sequel trilogy movies in order to change the perception of films by J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. Now, also on top of this, it's described that one major retcon that Jon Favreau is creating has much to do with Luke Skywalker and his DNA playing a massive role in the new Star Wars universe. It's best noted that Jon Favreau recently was the one responsible to bring in Luke Skywalker's severed hand into the new Darth Vader comics, specifically one by Greg Pak. Favreau discussed with Pak to introduce Luke's severed hand, as this is going to directly tie into the major retcon for the sequel trilogy movies. It's best noted that Favreau plans to link Luke Skywalker's DNA with Rey Palpatine, officially making Rey holding a portion of Luke's DNA. Though this alone will not make her a Skywalker per se, this is best described to give Rey the memories of Luke Skywalker, hence why she was able to see the visions of Luke and the slaughter of his Jedi Temple in some of the concept art for The Force Awakens and footage as well, and even for The Rise of Skywalker. Jon Favreau is excited to make this retcon official by the time the new year begins in the first quarter. Jon Favreau is set to establish multiple retcons to the sequel trilogy by early to mid 2022 that will change how fans view episodes 7 through 9. Now, here's a very interesting thing you guys may not recall, but in Star Wars Legends, there is a segment of the expanded universe, the old one, where they actually take Luke's severed hand and they clone him into a character called Luke, alright, with extra U's or K's, if I recall correctly. And what's interesting about this is that Jon Favreau is creating his own little spin on this, and it connects directly to what Greg introduced in the new Darth Vader comic coming out. Now, what's really exciting about that comic is that it's going to introduce also aspects of Darth Vader. Darth Vader, obviously, finding the Luke severed hand is going to eventually play a massive role in the sequel trilogy movies. Now, the DNA aspect is very interesting, and it kind of does tie directly into The Force Awakens perfectly. A lot of fans always wondered, why in the world did Rey see the visions of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy and the destruction of it all? How would she have memories of that? You know, how would she actually have memories of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren slaughtering the innocent individuals in that vision as well? So the fact that the DNA of Luke being inserted into Rey is going to have some kind of connection to her memories of Luke Skywalker. That's a very interesting way that Jon Favreau is doing things right now. And it's going to massively change how we actually view the sequel trilogy movies once the full retcon is going to be explained in depth in 2022. We're looking at most likely February to March of next year. Now, Jon Favreau's a visionary. I like what he does. You know, I like him as an actor, a producer, a writer, whatever have you. I mean, this is the man that really started the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in Iron Man 2008, right? He's the man that started it all, brought it into fruition, and gave the Marvel fans what they wanted to see. And if it weren't for him, I'm not quite sure if Iron Man as a character would have been like how he was in the MCU. In fact, Jon Favreau was the one that pushed for Robert Downey Jr. to portray the role. So keep that in mind also. Now, aside from this, I mean, we also know that these retcons for the sequel trilogy, some may argue that it's not going to do a damn thing, that it's not going to really change how we view the sequels, and that's fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and that is perfectly fine and okay. However, at the same exact time, I think it holds an interest because it's dragging a lot of Star Wars legends into the official canon now, and kind of twisting it, giving their own little spin on it. And that's exactly what Jon and Dave are doing. They're not going to directly copy the legends, but they're going to bring in legends and kind of alter it a little bit to kind of fine-tune it to what already exists by Disney to make it fit in like the perfect piece to the puzzle, right? So obviously, you know, this is a great point for Jon Favreau to start things off the right way. I think that obviously now Kathleen Kennedy, given that she is no longer going to be working on the Acolyte this June, by the way, she will no longer be involved on a creative scale. So she roughly has a month, maybe a month and a half tops, of her being allowed to control what's happening with that actual creative aspect of the show. As for the actual severed hand, this is a very interesting development. It really is. In fact, when we look at Star Wars Legends, Luke Skywalker versing Luke, okay, I suggest you guys go ahead and look into that. It's a very interesting side of Star Wars. Some people think it's a ridiculous side, but I think it fits perfectly. So the fact that they're using that story to kind of incorporate it into Rey's story, it's going to get mixed results nonetheless. Well, we do know that there's going to be a lot of fans out there that are not going to be on board with that, and that's fine. But overall, I think that this is a great start because we're seeing a lot of legends coming back to life, and it's going to be both accurate and different at the same exact time. You know, like I say, Jon and Dave, they want to stay as original as possible while borrowing aspects, cherry-picking, if you will, from the old expanded universe. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, I think that Dave Filoni, also a visionary, knows what he's doing. He knows what the fans want to see, and he's going to do just that for the Star Wars fandom. So yeah, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.